No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on into Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. I forgot to send Jay Tust the link, so he's going to be joining us here shortly. I also was stepping on my cord here. I apologize for this. Great hosting here, but my headphones are messed up. We're having fun. We're off to a little bit of a rocky start, and that's how my travel is going, trying to get down to Fresno tonight. I'll keep you updated on that here momentarily. Let's see if this works now. I think we're good. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me know yes or no if you can't. We're in the Cutwater Studios here in Boise. My flight got canceled down to Fresno, so we are working on that and going to make it down hopefully today with our great sponsor on BNN Air. So our supporter and sponsor of BNN is going to make the trip to Fresno and help us get there. May impact the pregame show. More details to come, but going to make it down to Fresno. Just may not be there all the way in time to do a full pregame show. Like I said, we're going to be flying down on a plane with our one of our sponsors and boosters right before the game, and we're very appreciative of the person that likes to remain anonymous for helping us get to the game tonight at the last minute with the flight getting canceled and other things happening. So as Nate says, fire up the PJ. And yes, we actually will be firing up the PJ. And sorry, I'm texting Jay Tust because I forgot to send the link, but Jay should have it now. There's been a lot going on this morning, one of those mornings. But yeah, we assuming everything goes well, we'll be riding on the PJ down to Fresno. We'll be getting there shortly before the game, so we'll try for a shorter pregame show. And then after that, we will probably have to do a very short postgame show, if any, on the postgame show, because it's going to be a quick turnaround to try to get home tonight and back to Boise. So I apologize in advance. The pregame, postgame coverage may not be what it typically is from a live broadcast standpoint. We'll try to get some interviews posted. And essentially 9 a.m. tomorrow with John Mallory is going to be our post-game show, probably with the time commitment. But stuff happens. Flight got canceled. It is what it is. And at least I should hopefully make it down there for the game. And again, apologize in advance for the probably lack of live broadcast. We're hoping to do the pregame. I'm actually going to tape with Abe Jackson this afternoon before I leave. And then have some things ready. And we hope to have a pregame show that's partially recorded, partially live, if Jaden Finch can help us out, and then I can jump in time from the arena as soon as we get there. So it's Fresno State. It is. Somebody's asking. No Wi-Fi on the PJ. Nope. And as Nate Staley says, we understand you don't need to spend more time in Fresno than is needed. I will not confirm or deny, Jay Tust, that a current coach may have used a similar phrase about not needing to spend much time in Fresno. When I informed him yesterday that what was going on, maybe when my flight got canceled last night. So it is what it is, but we are hopefully going to make it to Fresno, Jay, and it's a road game in the Mountain West, so it's never easy from that standpoint. But Boise State, Fresno State tonight. How we doing, man?
Yeah, these used to be the glass half full excuse, BJ, is at least you go to Fresno or something, you hit in and out. But now that we got in and out, like whatever, right?
Yeah, that's true. And now that I'm trying to
is anymore.
I had the holiday 15 put on, so I'm trying to drop a few pounds here. So typically a trip to Fresno would mean the Doghouse Grill. It's right there by the Save Mart Center. It's kind of a legendary tri-tip sandwich spot. But I will not, even if I had made it last night like I was supposed to, not doing it on this trip, man. Trying to eat a little healthier. So we'll see. We're trying to get a little healthier, so no in and out, and no Doghouse Grill on this trip for sure. But
okay, all right. Well,
hopefully a win for Boise State at least.
I guess, right? Like back out on the road, and I know that Fresno State's having a down year, but I just don't think you can take road wins for granted in the Mountain West this year. I don't think that's the case, despite the fact that Fresno State has struggled. And I even look at that. I think the spread came out and Boise State's favored by 8 or something like that, maybe 7.5. That's those are tough road wins to come by. I don't care who you're playing, man.
You look at some of your metrics and all that, and like they're pretty bad. Like they turn the ball over a lot. But their effective field goal percentage is actually pretty good. Like Fresno State can shoot the ball a little bit. They just turn it over on the possessions that they don't make a shot. And their defense isn't great either. I think they're giving up. This might be a game tonight, Jay, where Boise State can finally really get it going from 3-point range. They're going to have some open looks in this game. We'll see if they can knock them down. Fresno State, one of the worst in the country in 3-point defense. So keep an eye on that if you're Boise State's offense. But they've got an intriguing roster. They got a transfer from Wyoming. They've got a couple 7-footers, or I think it might be listed at 6'11", but a couple big guys. They've got talent, and that's what Leon Rice said, and I've got a clip I can play from Leon here in a minute, Jay, but they've got talent. They just haven't put it all together yet, and those are scary because on any given night, a team that has the individual talent could put it together, and like I said, no road game in the Mountain West is ever easy.
No, it's not, but I mean, even if they are facing what you would consider, I mean, they might be the worst team in the Mountain West this year, BJ, because
you're going there on them, man.
What's that?
You're going there. Worst team in the league.
Well, I only say that just because, like, we look at some of these metrics that we buy stock into, not literally, obviously, but Ken Palm, in terms, I really do like looking at his efficiency on offense and defense, the adjusted offense, adjusted defensive metrics. I think those are awesome because, they take pace of play out of it, and you can get a real evaluation of who is effective, right? Like,
yeah,
in some cases, if you're a slow tempo team, you're not allowing a lot of points per game, but maybe teams are very effective against you or efficient against you. That kind of, weighs everything and gives you more of an accurate perception of what's going on. And Fresno State, I believe, is the only team in the Mountain West that ranks in the 200s in the country out of 360 some odd teams. They're the only team in the Mountain West that ranks in the 200s in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, or adjusted offense and adjusted defensive efficiencies, according to Ken Palm. So they're not a good team, and Boise State needs to go take care of business.
Yeah,
but you just can't assume Mountain West Road wins this year. I don't think you can. So do I think they're going to win? Yeah, I do. I do. And man, this might be exactly what a guy like Max Rice needs. In all honesty, BJ, is a couple open looks at a three and get his mojo back in the pointed in the right direction. At least offensively, he's doing a lot of other things.
You said the spread is 8.
Yeah.
If they won by 6 tonight, I would say that's a good win. Like
I would too.
5,
Absolutely.
like anything, just win the game. Like this is not. I mean, would you love to win by 15 and help your computer metrics and all that and have an easy coaster? Sure, but I think if you win this game by 1 point, you get out of Fresno on the charter tonight and say mission accomplished.
Oh, that's road wins are exactly like that. Just win and move on. It doesn't matter.
Keaton says it's down to 5.5, by the way.
Okay.
Which would maybe be making it a little scary.
Yeah.
Who are people seeing that? But that's about where I would probably have had it, 5-6.
I thought, and maybe that was the case. I just opened up ESPN's app last night as I was going to bed and just kind of sorting through stuff, and I noticed that it was 7.5 initially, but apparently it is 5.5 now, as we have had multiple people say on the YouTube chat. So, it's going in that direction. I think that's a way more accurate
projection
line.
was like 9 or 10, though, right?
Really?
I think the Ken Palm projection's 9, so that's why an 8-point spread isn't crazy. That's
wow.
That's interesting. Abo needs to hit the guarded threes, according to Perry.
I think Abo does hit the guarded threes. I mean, I'm almost serious. Like I feel like Buzo shoots better when he has a hand in his face. He has such a high release. Like that would take a long time to go back and break down, but I actually feel like he shoots better when he's got a hand in his face.
Tyree wants a 10-point win tonight. He's getting greedy.
Tyree, if they get that, man, go ahead and celebrate, because that would be an awesome road victory for Boise State if that was the case.
Derek says Air Force in Boise is the only game he's completely not worried about. It's the only one he can maybe take a breather. Is Air Force in Boise.
Derek just jinxed it.
And Wyoming in Boise. Why? I mean,
all
you need to know is see what Nevada just did going to Laramie and losing to. I mean, that's got to be any kind of wake-up
great
call
example, man. A great example. I mean, Wyoming is clearly in the bottom quarter of the Mountain West this year. They had a massive roster turnover, but they just hung, 98 points on Nevada. Nevada was a top 30 defensive efficiency team, according to Ken Palm. And Wyoming, who ranked in the 200s in offensive efficiency going into that game, hung 98 on the Wolfpack. That's life on the road in the Mountain West. Nothing can be assumed, man. Like it just can't.
Well, speaking of which, there were 2 media outlets, Bronco Nation News and KTVB, that showed up to interview Leon Rice yesterday. I'm not going to play the whole interview, just about a 65-second clip here. The first 3 questions about specifically on Fresno State. We will play the rest of this on the pregame show tonight, but here is the initial thoughts. Leon Rice to KTVB and Bronco Nation News at the airport, getting ready to board their charter in the background on the matchup with Fresno State.
Never easy going on the road in conference play. What's the challenge going down to Fresno tomorrow?
No doubt. It's a huge challenge. And, it's another team, I think, when you look at the roster, the way they play, their coaching staff, they're a lot better than what their record says they are. And we know that. And, our guys are locked in, ready to go. But life on the road, and not just on the road, everywhere is going to be a crusade to get a game.
You do look at the pieces, and then you look at the record and stuff. Well, why do you think it hasn't come together for them, maybe?
It's hard to win games, and sometimes you have injuries, and you always have stuff going on, and they've lost some crazy buzzer beater things, and just stuff like that. But I do know they're a good basketball team, and it's a hard place to win.
I know their effective field goal percentage is pretty high. I mean, they can shoot a ton. I mean, yeah. What could they do that could cause you some problems?
Well, I think Justin does an amazing job with their defense. They're one of the best defensive teams you face year in, year out, and it's their system. Justin came from San Diego State, and he knows how to coach that, and then that's where it begins, and that's a big part of their system. And so they did a great job on us here last year. I mean, we were a mess that first half, and we only played them one time, but it was a tough game.
There's Leon Rice speaking to KTVB Bronco Nation News yesterday before they boarded the charter flight down to Fresno about the challenge. And they were struggling in the first half against Fresno last year at home and had to play much better in the second half to win that game. And you do look at some of the scores that Fresno has had. And I mean, we're not trying to hype them up as being league contenders here. Jay, you said they might be the worst team in the league, but going on the road, conference play, and this is one of those sandwich games, Jay Tust. They just had the huge crowd against San Diego State on Saturday. You got the huge crowd against Utah State for first place, potentially on the line on Saturday. And then, there's going to be about 2,000 people in a 10,000-seat arena tonight for a late start in Fresno. These are always those sneaky, scary games. The trap game, the dreaded trap game.
I mean, we saw how that went last week, in all honesty, man. Like, I mean, UNLV is not getting enough credit. That's really tough. Like, I think UNLV is a talented team. I think the Mountain West tournament is already going to be a concern, and you're already going to have coaches talking about this year, where it's going to be a little unfair that a team that good once again gets to host at their venue. I won't say it's on their court, because they don't get a host on their court. The Mountain West brings in a different court, but it still is UNLV's venue. They're a good team, man. They came really close to upsetting Colorado State in Fort Collins just a few days later. They should have knocked off Utah State the Saturday prior to playing Boise State, but it was some miracle 5-point play, which never happens in college basketball, that pulled that off. I think it's kind of crazy, BJ, looking at it this way. If you look at the net rankings,
yes,
losing to UNLV on your home floor is basically the same as losing to Wyoming, who prior to beating Nevada was like 220 in the net rankings, or 212, somewhere in that range. I love the net rankings, but I just feel like the home and road it's got a really, really wide gap that I don't know if it should be that. I just don't know if it should be that different. Like, that's crazy.
Because the numbers are different. Top 30 is quad 1 at home, but top 75 is quad 1 on the road.
I mean, think about the difference
between 75. Well, if you just look at it right now, Jay, just to prove your point. So the number 20, let's say the number 30 team is Gonzaga. And I know they're still struggling a little bit this year. They're not the typical Gonzaga, but Gonzaga, number 30. And then we go to some teams just say in the 70s. St. Bonaventure is 75. So depending on where you play them, Appalachian State 73, Richmond 72, and you're getting the same credit for beating St. Bonaventure, App State, Richmond, McNeese, Bradley. Some of these schools, you'd be getting the same credit for them as beating Gonzaga, Utah State, Colorado. I mean, if you go all the way up the line for beating Houston or Purdue or Kansas or UConn or Auburn, any of those teams.
I feel like it's even worse than that. You got the rankings up in front of you. Who's 240 in the country right now?
240 would be, let's go up a little lower.
Because if you, in the net rankings, quad 3 on the road goes down to the 240th team in the country.
Mount St. Mary's.
So Mount St. Mary's.
Fresno State dropped to 241.
That's just wild to me.
So is this a quad 4 game?
You could lose. What's that?
Is this a quad 4 game then?
Tonight?
Where's quad 4 start on the road? Oh, this is on the road.
I believe it's 240 on the road.
Well, it's their 241.
Okay, then it's quad 4 game.
Wow.
Yeah. Which might be one of the last ones Boise State has on their schedule this season. But that's what I mean. It's crazy to me that's apparently apples to apples. You could lose at Mount St. Mary's, and that's basically the same as losing on your home floor to UNLV this year, who has a 5-star point guard, 2 former Power 5 athletes in the Boone brothers. Like, that's just that gap is too wide. That I think the net rankings have done a lot of good, but in that case, that's just I don't feel like that's comparable in my opinion.
Nate says he could see UNLV getting the auto bid, opening the door for the 6-bid league.
I mean, maybe, yeah. Their season is almost condensed to that at this point. Like, I don't think that even if they ran the table right now, it'd be really probably hard for them to work their way back into the at-large conversation, just because they do have 9 losses now, I believe, 8 or 9 losses now. I guess if they ran the table, maybe that would be enough, but I don't think that's realistic to expect them to run the table. But when we do look at Boise State's schedule, BJ, like, yeah, Boise State is continuing this gauntlet of games. Like this is their nice little quad 4 breather at Fresno State.
Yeah.
But then they come home, quad 1 game against Utah State, go out on the road, quad 1 game against New Mexico. On February 3rd, they come back here for a quad 4 game against Air Force, but then it's back-to-back quad 1 games. In mid to late February, they finally get a little bit of a break, but then once we turn to March, it's quad 1, quad 2, quad 1, and then the Mountain West tournament. So they're still in one heck of a gauntlet right now, and it's not going to really ease up for almost another full month, BJ.
I was saying this yesterday with Prater, but it's interesting if you look at some of the other schedules, Jay, like New Mexico is in a pretty easy stretch. New Mexico's last 4 road games of the season are the 4 best teams in the league, probably. So we're not going to really know much. We're not going to know much about New Mexico. I could see New Mexico realistically being like 21-3 and like 9-2 in conference, and then losing 4 out of their last 5 or whatever. I mean, it's very
what
possible.
happened to them last year, right? Like I believe they.
But I think the schedule would dictate this more than them collapsing or whatever. But it it's just, but it's the opposite for Utah State. The Utah State is also starting their hard stretch right now. You mentioned Boise State, but Utah State is they're on the bye this week, so they get Boise State, and then they're home to San Jose, but then they're at San Diego State, home to Nevada and Boise State, and then at Colorado State. And they still have to go. They still have New Mexico as well. But as I mentioned, don't forget Utah State and all this, Jay, is going to have a leg up, and I think a lot of teams and coaches are not going to be pleased, and fan bases. Utah State does not have to go to Reno, and that is the one top 6 team that doesn't have to go to the other team's venue, and that's probably, you would say, is a loss, or is a good chance that could be a loss, having to go to, it's certainly a better chance than playing them at home, and they do not have to go to Reno, so that's potentially one loss that you're potentially having to make up somewhere else if you're Boise State trying to catch up to Utah State.
Yeah, that's tough. I will say this though, all of a sudden now that the league is as good as it's been, there was a conversation that, happened after last game. I think for a long time, Mountain West coaches have been pushing for a 20-game league schedule. Yep. One thing, it makes it fair because what you just said right there is out the window because now everybody travels to, you have your home and you're away and everything's equal. You don't have to worry about some weird scheduling imbalance that creates some type of unfair situation.
Yeah.
But now that the league is so good, all of a sudden it's like, maybe we don't need to play 2 more games, in this gauntlet of a schedule. What's your take on that?
I would say I still think it makes sense to play the 2 Mountain West teams over Western Oregon or some of the non-D1s. Get rid of the non-D1s and just add the 2 conference games. I think you need to have, you could say what you want about strength of schedule and all that, and maybe losing another league game, but I think that you cannot have a title decided this year because Utah State didn't have to go to Nevada. That's just not right. If you can have a conference title and decide the teams, everyone should play the same, should have to play the same. In football, I get it. It's not possible, all that, but but when you get into basketball and you're that close and it's very easy, you just add 2 more games and you play a true round robin. Everybody plays everybody home and road. It just seems too early. It's too easy. That's just how I feel about it.
I just think it's funny that the narrative did change, or it does seem to be evolving a little bit now that the league is so good. I know that you were multitasking, BJ, and I after last post game. So I don't know if you were you and Leon for that explanation or that question?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. When Mark Ziegler asked about the scheduling.
Yeah. I thought it was a good question. Kind of gave me a surprising answer, just because I think for a long time Leon has been on, the side of this conversation where he did want more league games, and he even mentioned though that many years ago when they started talking about this, some of the older guys that have been around the block were like, "No, we're good at 18. We're good." And I don't know if he really understood it then, but I think now he's starting to see why that might be, why that might be the case. I think for Boise State too. I mean, imagine as they try to develop, and it came along last game. We've had to be a little patient, but as they develop depth in these things,
Yes.
You take those 2 non-D1 games off the schedule and add 2 Mountain West games, it's going to get even harder to try to develop, and trust your bench and get some young guys into a game if that's the case.
That's a fair point, and I do want to talk about the bench here in a minute, but Tyree must have came in late. He's asking if I'm heading down for the game today. Yes, heading down, should be there. Not sure we'll have a full pregame or full postgame, working on that, but had a flight delay, cancellation, and would have missed my connection last night, Jay, so glad I didn't try to get to Vegas and get stuck there, and so it is what it is, but one of my great loyal friends and sponsors that doesn't like me and allow me to use his name is going to give us a ride down. So we'll hopefully be there in time for the game. Jay, speaking of at Fresno State, I want to go into the vault. We're going into the vault, an old Fresno State, Boise State game. Someone sent me some footage, and we're going to check that out and go into the vault here on Boise State, Fresno State, and the history of this basketball rivalry. We'll do that in 90 seconds. Also, Chris Mitchell, a lot of folks asking about him on the football side, a JUCO player that's visiting. We'll discuss that too. But don't go anywhere. Getting you set for tonight's Boise State, Fresno State game back in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, Jay Tust, there's been a lot of great battles in the Boise State-Fresno State series on the football side, but they had some on the basketball court as well. I'm not taking credit for this footage. Paul J on the call. Not sure if they synced it, if they got it from the TV side, where they got this from. But this is 2008. Someone by the name of Matt Bauscher, someone by the name of Reggie Larry, some former players, some names, and BNN contributor Matt Bauscher hitting a big 3. But here is a quick look back, 2008, Boise State, Fresno State.
At the line, a young guy, Miles Green. He'll shoot 2. 13 and a half seconds left. He misses the first one badly.
Need to get the rebound if he misses this one to have a chance. Because you know if they get the rebound, they'll get it to Bell and Miller as quick as they can.
And they don't miss. Green at the line. Free throw. Good. 4-point lead for Fresno State. Broncos quickly with the ball. Bauscher takes a 3. Good. Nailed it. Matt Bauscher.
Boise State almost called a timeout, and they don't have any.
The inbound pass. 7.5 seconds left to go. Throw it away. Fresno State throw it away.
Boise State will get the ball underneath the basket with 7.5 to play, Paul J. Down one.
89-88, Fresno State. The pass was thrown away by Fresno.
Boise State with no timeouts.
Run a play and get a shot and win the game. Let's go home. Let Boise State win one.
I'd try to get it to Bauscher. He made 2 huge shots.
Inbounds pass. Reggie Larry lays it in. The Broncos lead. 6 seconds left to go. Broncos need to make them take some time getting the ball up court.
Keep the ball out of Bell's hands.
But don't foul him for crying out loud. Inbounds pass. Bell with it. He walked with it, no call. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, shot is up. No good. Tipped outside. The Broncos win 90-89.
Oh, and the guy who made the game winner last year, it looked like it was going in. What a win for Boise State.
Overtime, Jay Tust.
I'm so inspired by that music too.
Yeah, that was kind of like it was like the was that like Remember the Titans or some sports
yeah,
movie?
something like that.
I like how he said, "Don't foul him for crying out loud," and then he said, "Oh, he walked. They didn't call."
I don't think he traveled.
Oh, you love Paul J.
I do, man. That was awesome. That was great.
That was hitting a big three. Then they were down 4 with 13 seconds left. Hit the three, then got this.
I swear I could hear him yell, "Let's sell some homes!" Right as that thing went down.
Sold.
Yeah.
And then hits the 3 to cut it to
awesome.
1. They get the steal on the inbounds, and Reggie Larry hits the layup, and just like that, they in overtime escape with a win.
You bring up Reggie Larry. I think I'm pretty sure Tyson Degenhardt has a chance to pass him on the all-time scoring list this game. Tyson's getting I know Tyson just cracked 1,000 points, in late December, and now he's already climbing up to 1,100 career points. But I think he's got a chance to pass Reggie Larry on the career points list this game.
Speaking of passing people on lists, I know with the COVID year, you're adding in more games, you're adding in more seasons. So some of these awards maybe don't quite mean quite as much, maybe not quite as fair to the previous guys that held them. But either way, top 10 is top 10. And Max Rice with a win tonight, Jay, would become the 10th all-time winningest player in the history of Mountain West basketball. I know on this show and on Twitter and whatever else, especially lately, Max Rice has been getting plenty of criticism. He's been struggling to shoot from the field, no doubt about it. But he's proven to be a winner, man. He's been a part of a lot of games, a lot of teams. Has been right in the middle of this, resurgence, this new era of Boise State basketball the last couple of years. And with a win tonight, Max Rice would be number 10 all-time winningest players in the Mountain West.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And if you're Max Rice, I don't know if there's a cooler stat out there than that. Top 10 all-time in wins. You said that during these COVID years that some of those, you might look at them a little bit differently. But I'll say this, the guy that holds the all-time record in the Mountain West wouldn't unless he got a COVID year. So, I say what you will, but there are other guys on that list that have benefited from additional years of eligibility due to COVID. Max Rice now included in that group. I think I'm not predicting Boise State's going to win out, BJ.
I know you're a glass half full guy. You're a very positive guy, Jay. I did chuckle a little bit though when I saw the
yes,
if they win.
Just the poetic justice of that would be incredible if it were to play out that way. And what I'm saying is, if Boise State were to run the table in the regular season, sweep through the Mountain West Conference tournament, then the first game of the NCAA tournament would be to tie the record for Max. And again, I'm not predicting Boise State's going to win out. That would be.
I got him losing 3 games in the regular season, so I think he's going to break it to put them in the Final Four.
There it is. Okay. Well, what's more crazy, that thought or my thought?
Those are probably equally crazy, to be honest with you. What's more likely, Boise State wins out the rest of the season?
If he's going to tie this record, is it going to be to get to the Final Four, or is it going to be to advance?
By the way, I can't speak this morning. I said glass half full instead of glass half full. I apologize for that.
I can't listen. I
didn't even have my headphones plugged in when the show started. It's been one of those mornings, Jay. I say with the flight issues and my kids. We've had an issue, Jay, by the way, with my kids saying they're ready for school. Again. They're saying they're ready, and then when the bus is about to show up, they're not ready. They still have to get their snacks, or they still have to get this. So I thought we had moved past that, and we're ready to leave. And one of my kids didn't have his shoes on and couldn't find his shoes, and so we almost missed the bus. It was kind of a flustered situation there, and just been one of those mornings. But
there's nothing that sparks sheer chaos like not being able to find the other shoe.
No, they don't care about breakfast. They don't care about clothes. They don't care about shoes. They want to wake up and start getting on those Legos or that PS5 or the iPad or whatever else they want to do at 6:30 in the morning and not get ready for school. So we've tried to say, until you eat breakfast, until you're dressed, until your backpack's by the door, until you are literally ready to walk out the door, you can't do any technology, no nothing else. And little Nelly was all ready and got to the door and realized he wasn't wearing any shoes. So sometimes that just happens.
Too
funny. I don't know about you. I don't know how it's going to work for you when your kiddos get into actual school where there's a bus potentially. Our bus stop is like 4 blocks up the street. So we on cold days like this and most days, because Dad's lazy, we also waste time until we go like literally right when the bus. They have an app, by the way. I don't know if you know about this. There's an app that actually tells you like where the bus is, so it's pretty cool to track and you can time it pretty well.
That's good.
But it's like 4 blocks away, so we literally get in our truck and like drive 4 blocks to the bus stop, and then they get out and get on the bus. So it's a little bit of a process in the mornings, but
it sounds like it. 4 blocks away. That's not.
Not close.
Seems kind
They
of
walk
far.
home. I let them walk home for the most part, but in the morning we usually run them up there just because they cut it pretty close, and I'd rather have those extra couple of minutes to do something.
Yeah,
in
let
the
those
house.
kids walk home in the snow.
Yes, and I have no clue how we got on this tangent, but just been one of those mornings. Yeah, we it is Max Rice deserves whatever credit he's going to get, and he's going to be, he's already top 15, I think, in scoring, and I think he's got a chance, Jay, in Boise State history to get maybe into the top 10 or at least like number 11, and he has struggled a little bit, so that number's come down a little bit, but I think he's got a chance if he could finish strong here to get to 10 or 11. And then Tyson's got a chance to get top 3 or 4 if he comes back next year and has a big year. I mean, Tyson's past the 1,000 mark already. He's got maybe I think it was Max Rice is like 30th, but has a chance to get to 15. I think he can get the top 15. That's what it was. He can get the top 15 by the end of the year, and then I think Tyson could get around there, and then Tyson could get top 5 by the end of next year.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for Tyson to break the all-time scoring record just because I don't think he's the guy that will ever go out and average 22 a game. And you look at some of the guys that have been up there, they played forever and they averaged a lot of points, at least, once or twice throughout their career. But yeah, Max Rice is at 1,055 career points. And, you look back the Utah Valley game, he scored 22 points. It seemed like that was his kind of the game that he was going to bounce back, was 8 of 12, from the floor. But since that game, he has not shot over 37.5% in a single game. Overall, he's shooting 25% from the floor, 26.7% from 3. So he's been actually a little bit better shooting from distance than inside the arc. 83.3% from the free throw line. What's that?
Yeah. He's making the free throws. That's a good thing. But
yeah,
those floaters and those post ups and some of those small shots this year just aren't falling.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. The ball hasn't bounced his way. You figure it's going to happen at some point in time. Luckily, Boise State hasn't had to necessarily rely on his scoring efforts as much as they did maybe even last year. BJ, they have Omar Stanley, Chibuzo Abo's taken another step. Tyson Degenhart is Tyson Degenhart. So luckily, they haven't had to quite rely on him like they needed to in years past when it came to scoring the basketball.
Let's take one more.
I will
quick.
say this.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, one more. Sorry.
We need to take one more quick 90-second break, and I got some other stuff I want to get to. But if you go ahead, if you got a point,
no, I'll save it for the other side, bud.
All right. Oh, there's a tease. Don't go anywhere, Jay. You can't miss Jay's point coming up. 90 seconds. We'll finish the basketball talk, and we'll also quickly mention Chris Mitchell and finish the show up talking about that. But don't go anywhere. Back in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News. Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at tacobellworks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, Jay Tust, what do we got here? Sorry to cut you off on that point.
No, it's good. What I was just going to say is that, 2 years ago, Max Rice was going through that terrible shooting slump, right? And down at San Diego State, he hits that three and he turns around. He, throws his hands up in the air like, thank God I finally made a freaking shot. And now maybe we can move forward with this thing, right? Well, that was 2 years ago to the day yesterday, right? So maybe this is where Max turns the corner, hits a few shots, and finishes the season strong. But
we've been pretty good, man. Maybe were we calling this? Are we getting a Max Rice 3 with the hands up tonight?
Maybe that was that game, by the way. The Boise State won at San Diego State 42-37. Just that defensive absolute slugfest. So that 3 was actually a pretty big bucket in that contest.
Sam pointing out the IQ of Max Rice, though, second to none. Pesky defender, constantly forcing jump balls. We'll see. I do think I believe in Max. Talked to him at the airport yesterday. I mean, I think he's close to having one of those 6 for 7, 6 for 8 games from 3. And Boise State could certainly use that tonight. And as I said, Jay, this would maybe be a game for it to happen. If you look at the matchup tonight, Fresno State is 346th. I think there's about 360 teams or something. So 346th in 3-point percentage defense. So opponents shoot almost 38% from 3 against them, which ranks 346th. It's the big red box. So maybe this is a opportunity for Boise State and Max Rice in particular to get going from 3.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. We saw Omar Stanley get it done from distance last week, which I gotta say, man, Omar is so good at getting to the rack, finishing near the rim. Whenever he starts to launch him from behind the arc, I kind of have okay, it went in. All right, cool, sweet. And he did that 3 times last game. So he's proven that if you leave him open, he's going to make you pay. And that's going to make him even more dangerous, BJ, because now teams and defenders, if he's going to do that, consistently or anywhere near a consistent, fashion, then they're going to have to guard him out there. And it's going to make it even more dangerous to blow by and do what he does best. So those were some big shots for him. That's going to make opponents respect him and look at him a little differently now.
And one guy that loves it when he shoots a 3 and makes it is Abe Jackson, because a couple of games ago on the pregame show, I told Abe Jackson, I love Omar Stanley, but I don't need him shooting 3s. Let some other guys on the team take the 3s, stay in the paint, post up, rebound, score, post guys up. I didn't love Omar Stanley shooting 3s. And now every single time that Omar Stanley makes one, I either get a text from Abe Jackson or I either get Abe Jackson looking at me from the front with the 3s, over there from courtside. So Abe Jackson loves to rub it in now every time Omar Stanley hits a 3, because he told him to keep shooting it.
I'm going to jump on board with Abe then. So
I want to see him. If they go in, great. If they go in, great.
You're wrong.
Oh, and it happens often. But as you said, I mean, 3 of 3. I mean, come on. Like Brian Dutcher's got to be over there going, really? Like,
yeah.
I mean, Cam Martin hits a 3. Omar Stanley hits 3. Meadow, Jace Whiting hit 3s. Like, what was Brian Dutcher supposed to do? Like, these guys that are just, the non star guys are hitting 3s, which is what you need. To win. We got.
I never really thought about it that way, BJ. They got 15 points on 5 shots from guys that haven't really contributed that way all season long. I mean,
and Martin and Stanley were 4 for 4 from 3 combined.
Right. And I mean, Omar, I believe, only entered that game with 4 3s on the season. Cam is a really good 3-point shooter, but as we have talked about in the past, he's dealing with a shoulder injury right now that is kind of causing him a little bit of a hitch in his release that just doesn't make him quite as effective. I mean, his ball almost spins like sideways when he releases it from 3 now. It's got an awkward rotation. Yeah. It's got a really awkward rotation. Yeah. It spins this way. Like I could see how it could almost spin the other way, but like, yeah, it's got a weird spin on it. But for those guys to go 4 of 4 for Jace Whiting, who has actually shot it at a pretty good clip from 3 this year, but just doesn't attempt a ton of them. In a 1-point game to get 15 points from those guys on 5 shots, man, that's a massive difference.
Without looking, Jay, do you know the last time Jace Whiting scored a point before the San Diego State game?
Western Oregon?
Close, Northwestern State. He had 6 points, which was right after that, December 12th. So he had gone over a month without scoring before that 3. And as we kind of start to finish this up, the bench was a big topic that you, myself, we were all a little critical of, or whether it be the bench or whether it be Leon not playing the bench enough. We talked about it kind of being the chicken or the egg. Leon admitted that maybe a little bit of it was on him for maybe not giving them an opportunity. And those guys finally got a little more of an opportunity. Jace in particular had the great drive and baseline pass to Andrew Meadow for the 3. I mean, those were 2 bench guys with a key possession. You mentioned the 3 that he hit. I thought Jace looked and played a lot better, and Leon said after the game, this is the Jace Whiting we saw last year that just has more tenacity and fire and can play, that junkyard dog that can just get in there and be physical and make big shots. And you saw after Jace Whiting hit that 3 how fired up he was, firing up the crowd and stuff. And it had been a long time coming. I just said over a month since he had scored, and he had barely seen the floor. So what do you make of Jace, Cam, Andrew, and we'll see at some point if RJ Keene is still on this team. But the bench and what you make of their improvement. And I really thought the rotations the other night, I hope they do that again tonight, but you had Jace and Roddy playing together, which let Max have a couple extra minutes off. And then you had Cam and Omar playing together, which gave Tyson a couple extra minutes off. And they kind of mixed the rotations a little bit and gave some more guys a little bit of rest. And I know 34, 35 minutes doesn't feel a lot different than 37, 38. But, when there's late free throws or late possessions down the stretch, those extra 2 or 3 minutes could matter.
Massive difference, man. And we did talk about this. I joked around, like, go back, find it. Let's cue it up so that we can prove to people that we actually know what we're talking about. Every now and then the blind squirrel finds the needle in the haystack, or whatever that might be. Just kidding, but
pass full. Yeah. Whatever.
I'm messing with you. But that's how like rare it is. It is a blind squirrel finding a needle in a haystack. But no, we talked about it and how like the first half minutes for the reserves were going to be big because that would allow you maybe to play your starters a little longer down the stretch. And you wanted to keep everybody under, at 35 minutes or below. Leon kept all of his starters at 34 minutes or below. Tyson Degenhardt's kind of the exception, I believe, because he's just kind of your war daddy, if you will, where you play him however long he needs to be played because he's just that good. But for Leon to really trust his reserves, for them to spell the starters, to keep everyone under 34 minutes of action and allow them to finish off that game. I mean, I know it was a 1-point game, which, kind of sucks for a number of reasons, BJ. If you beat San Diego State by 8-10 versus 1, I'm guessing that you get rewarded a little bit more in some of these metrics, and maybe you do bump up a little bit more because that is a big difference. But
which I take the blame for, because I told Prater and Johnny with about 2 minutes left, because Prater's not a big analytics guy, not a big Ken Pom guy, so he always gives me crap for kind of being and so I looked at them with about 2 minutes, 2:30 to go, and I said, Prater, I know you're going to love to hear this, but I said if they could keep this 8-point lead or even extend it here, this is a big, this would be big for the old computer metrics. And him and Johnny both laughed, and then right away it started going downhill.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm going to blame you.
Feel free.
Okay, I'm going to blame you for that, and I think all of Bronco Nation, but me specifically, I'm blaming you for the outcome of it only being a 1-point game. But but overlooked in that, or what we can't overlook in that, is the fact that it looked like San Diego State was really gonna make this a brick fight, and they took that lead, and just kind of the way that they were like working, you're like, oh man, this is not. I don't feel good about this. And then all of a sudden, it was like from that like 10-minute mark to the 2-minute mark where Boise State really turned it on, and they built a lead that allowed them. I know it was 1 point. It was never really in jeopardy though, because they were up 4, last second 3 that didn't matter. And, it still allowed them to cruise to that victory. Maybe they were a little fresh, right? So that bench performance was massive. And if they can get that again, it would be again, massive. I think one thing that I loved about it, BJ, when you're a pinch hitter in baseball and you get one at bat and you get out, and then the next game you come back and you're same role and you get out, then it feels like all of a sudden these limited opportunities are really starting to get stacked against you. So if you're a reserve, you come off and you miss a shot, and you only get to play 3 minutes in a game. So then you got to wait till Saturday to play again. That sucks, man. So to be able to play 16 minutes, go through the ebbs and flows a little bit, but ultimately come out on the right side of this thing, that's big for everybody.
Hey, quick shout out Bronco Brew Coffee. Check them out, broncobrew.coffee. Roasted to order coffee. Highly recommend it. Supporting Boise State University athletics with every sip. Very affordable, very delicious coffee. And with every bag, a couple bucks goes into the pocket of the Boise State athlete of your choice. They've got NIL deals with a lot of athletes. You can go to their website, check them out, broncobrew.coffee. Find the athlete you want to donate to. Andrew Simpson is on there. I believe Markel Reed. I believe Sam Winter, Kobe Young, some of the basketball players as well. But you can sign up for a subscription every week. They'll deliver you a fresh roasted to order bag of coffee, and you're helping Boise State and the NIL game at the same time. BroncoBrew.coffee is the website. All right, Jay, final thing here for you, and then I'm going to keep it going for a little bit. But Chris Mitchell, I don't know how familiar you are with him, but he is the number 1 ranked JUCO player in the country. He was, I believe, dismissed from 2 schools, or at least has been at 2 previous schools, Texas A&M and Ole Miss, I believe. Somebody can prove me wrong on that, but I believe he was either dismissed from both or was at both and left both. I don't know all the details. This has kind of happened in the last 24 hours. And like I said, I've had a lot going on, from having a bag packed and leaving to my flight getting canceled. And I'll be honest, I don't 100%. I'm not at the very bottom of the Chris Mitchell situation, but he does, or Marshall, excuse me. Chris Marshall. I do not have, which shows you where I am on this. But
you're giving Chris Mitchell a shout out. He was the former walk-on at Boise State, went out to College of Idaho, absolutely balled for them this year, by the way. It was one of their better defensive
I don't want to
players.
get him involved for checkered past or whatever. So I said the wrong guy. I apologize. But there is a little bit of history and a little bit of a past here. And I've seen some people say, hey, give him a 0 tolerance, give him a chance. Some people saying maybe there's plenty of other guys in the portal, maybe look elsewhere. We don't know all the details, hasn't even committed yet, but he did post a video of him visiting the photo on the Blue recently. He took a visit, and again, ranked the number 1 JUCO wide receiver in the country. What's your take on the situation?
That I think it's going to happen. I think Bronco Nation should feel confident that he's going to give Boise State a shot, but I don't, I think that's all that it is, BJ. I do. I don't think you can completely ignore his past. Maybe there are probably further explanations to it that go beyond a simple Google search. I mean, I know like that when you look for why he was dismissed from Ole Miss, all it says is a violation of team rules, which that is a very broad and not a very specific description of why he was dismissed, obviously. So that could mean a lot of things. It could mean showing up late to too many team meetings, or stuff that's, way more serious than that, obviously. So for whatever reason, he was dismissed. That's what the Google search provided me. But he's a really talented wide receiver, man. Like he is really, really good. And I will say this. I feel good about where Boise State's at with their receivers regardless. I do. I think Camper, the guy that they brought in from Indiana, he is a really, really talented player. Latrell Caples is coming back next year off of an injury that kept him out this entire season. I think Latrell is a really, really good player. They have some young guys in that receiver room that I expect to grow. Prince Strawn made tremendous strides this year. Austin Bolt is a little bit older, finally getting a chance to play. I do feel okay with where they're at in that wide receiver room, even if Marshall doesn't work out, whether it be now or down the road. The semester, I believe, at Boise State has started, so that makes it a little bit a little interesting, I believe, because they got to get him, if he is indeed going to come here, they got to get him into school and get him rolling so he can partake in spring ball and things like that. But I think it's going to happen.
Again, reading an article from CBS Sports, he was dismissed, as you said, for a violation of team rules. It was a brief stint there. And again, he was the number 24 overall player in the class of 2022.
BJ, just pause there for a second, man.
5-star player.
Another former 5-star high school kid. I mean, they already got one of them, and now they might be getting another.
but he was dismissed from Ole Miss, and then it says it was, quote, the latest bit of off-field trouble for the number 3 ranked receiver in the 2022 class. Was one of multiple players suspended for the team's win over Miami on September 17th. Later, he was among the Aggies suspended because of a locker room incident after a loss to South Carolina in October. So 2 different issues when he was at Texas A&M and then goes to Ole Miss. I don't know for sure, and maybe you know, but it just says he was in 6 games for Texas A&M before entering the portal. Was he technically let go from A&M, or did he leave on his own? Or
I didn't see that he was let go at A&M. At least, I didn't see any official dismissed for team rules.
For 2 different games there, and then left, and then went to Ole Miss, and that was only just in the spring, right? Didn't even play a game for them, did he?
I don't believe. His stint at Ole Miss was very short,
and then that's why he went the JUCO route that fall, I would assume.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I agree with you. I think they have some younger guys, and I'm sure Spencer's going to have an explanation for it at some point. We are still awaiting an incident or update, I guess, from him on Jalen Clark. He is, suspended indefinitely as well. So there's an issue that he's having to deal with in terms of an off the field incident, and we'll see kind of what his precedent is and that he sets in terms of things like that. And I believe Spencer Danielson, there may be a path for Jalen Clark to stay on the team. We'll see what happens with the charges and all that, but I feel like Spencer Danielson's a guy that may make him earn it, but maybe as a guy that just the family atmosphere and loves him so much, doesn't want to just kick him out to the curb and try to let him learn from it and move on. And we'll see what happens there, but that's going to be really interesting how he handles that.
Yeah, the legal process has to play out there, and until it does, I think it's tough to paint a picture one way or the other. So that legal process will play out, and everybody will have the information that they need, and then that can be assessed later on down the road. But all that stuff has to happen, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that one, I think.
All right, Jay, we'll let you go. I'm going to keep this going. Anything else coming up this week or tonight or next couple of days on KTVB for folks to be paying attention to?
I don't want to look ahead past Fresno State, but
you're on the call, right?
We're on the call, on Saturday. Utah State coming to town. We did our best to try to get that thing on the mothership, actual Channel 7. Unfortunately, there were just some things that didn't work out there, so that was unfortunate. But we are going to be streaming it live at KTVB.com as well as on KTVB Plus. You can watch it live on Idaho's very own 24/7, and so that's another opportunity for us that we're excited about.
Did you? I never saw it. I'm sure you already put it out there, maybe it's available somewhere. But when did the Ashton Genty snowplow feature run?
It hasn't ran yet.
Okay.
I was actually technically off last Friday, and that was like a last minute thing that had been trying to figure out for a while, and then it just kind of came together quickly. So
you got to do it while there's snow, man. It melts pretty quick.
It does, yeah. So ran in, shot it, but haven't actually had the time to put it together. But I'll keep you posted because it should be this week.
All right, man. We'll appreciate your time, Jay, and we will talk to you Friday as we get ready for the Utah State game.
All right, brother. Safe travels.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Jay. There he is, Jay Tust, KTVB Sports Director. We appreciate him for joining us on Bronco Nation News. As I said earlier, just giving you a heads up, and I hope you guys can understand and be patient. There is going to be some sort of pregame show tonight from Fresno. I'm going to tape the interview with Abe Jackson today, and maybe tape the opening 20 minutes, and Jaden Finch is going to play that. And then I'm hoping that I'll be at the arena and can jump on live and at least give a quick report and show you what's going on tonight from Fresno. Maybe I'll go live right when the plane touches down while I'm still on the plane, and then we'll throw it to the Abe Jackson interview, and then I'll try to get over to the arena in time. I don't know, but if you're joining us late, my flight was canceled last night, missed a connection in Vegas, and I am dealing with some travel issues, and one of my sponsors that I've ridden with them a couple times is super nice and appreciative and decided to go to the game at the last minute and give me a ride. And so I'll be heading down to the game, but won't be arriving till an hour before tip off. And it's just going to be, got to go when they can go. And so we'll see what we can do in terms of the pregame show. Also, probably is not going to be a live post-game show. Just letting you know, I'm hoping to get an interview or two on my phone. I might be able to go live, in the Uber or something for a few minutes, or maybe right before we take off with some quick thoughts. But probably not going to be much of a post-game show. Maybe a quick one. We'll see, but I wouldn't expect on too much of that. because they're trying to get wheels up as soon as possible to get back to Boise tonight. We're going to see if we can beat the team charter back home. And so just got to go when the ride is available, and you do what you can. And I'm just thankful that I'll at least be able to get to the game and see it in person. But in terms of pre and post game coverage, there may not be a ton tonight. It is what it is, and hope you guys understand that. But effectively, or essentially, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when I'm back in Boise with John Mallory, that will be our pregame or our postgame show. So our Lithia Ford to Boise postgame show, complete breakdown of the game, complete breakdown, hopefully some interviews, will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So it is what it is for a game, and appreciate you guys for understanding with that. I appreciate all of our sponsors and things that may miss out on a read tonight or may miss out on a mention that they're contractually obligated to get. I hope everybody understands. Just you can't deal with the weather. Yesterday in Vegas, they had some bad rainstorms and some very low ceilings, and flights were delayed by 3, 4, 5 hours yesterday, and couldn't get out last night. And then there was an opportunity to get out early this morning, but I would not have been able to do this show. And just timing wise and money wise and the way it all worked, decided to stay in Boise and do the pregame show here, or do the morning show here with Jay. And then, as I said, I'll tape the interview with Abe Jackson. We'll have that to play at some point tonight. Jaden Finch, we're going to pop on. We're hoping for the normal time, right around 6:30, 6:45. We'll have some sort of taped pregame show to start with, and then hopefully live as well. So excited to just at least, everything goes well with the travel and everything, be there to watch the game and in person and be able to still report on it. So it is what it is tonight. Just bear with us, and hopefully we'll be able to get you a small pregame and maybe a small postgame. But the chances of a postgame show are fairly slim, because I've been told we're going to try to get out of there as soon as possible after the game. So appreciate you guys for all checking us out. I do want to give a shout out to Lean Feast in Meridian. Check them out. Dave and his staff do a tremendous job. You looking for healthy eating? You looking for a way to convenience of getting meals out of the refrigerator and putting them right in the microwave for 2 minutes and being done. I mean, if you work in an office and you don't have time to cook or you don't want to go out to eat every day, highly recommend Lean Feast. They deliver. LeanFeastMeridian.com, or you can go into their store there by the Five Guys at Eagle Road and Ustick, and fully customizable. Pick out all your meals yourself, and just do that. And then it's a very easy, highly recommended. I was going to say safe, but of course it's safe, but it's healthy is the word I was looking for, eating. So check out Lean Feast, and appreciate LeanFeastMeridian.com. And that's where I've been. I'm about 8 pounds down or so in the last couple of weeks. Got a long ways to go, but it is thanks to eating almost exclusively at Lean Feast. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. If you won a prize yesterday, I will be in touch with you in the next couple of days. A couple of you emailed me. Not all of you have yet. If you won a prize, please email me, and we will get that to you. And don't forget, join us. It's coming up before you know it, 7 weeks from Friday. The BNN KTIK pool party at Stadium Swim, Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. We have a 15% off link if you want to stay at Circa or stay at Stadium Swim. My man Travis Hawks is flying down there today and staying for 3 days for a conference at Circa. I'm very jealous of him, but appreciative that he is staying at Circa. He got like 14 rooms there for his coworkers. They're staying at Circa. They're eating at Barry's Prime tonight. So I'm very appreciative and thankful that they're supporting the sponsors. Hopefully you will too on your next trip to Vegas. But we have a 15% off link if you want to stay there for the conference tournament. But if you are not staying there, you are still able to come for the pool party. If you RSVP to Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com, that's right, Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com, you get free cover charge into the pool party, even if you're not staying at Circa Resort and Casino. So email me. We'll get you set up. We'll get your info. And you'll be on the RSVP list, and you get to go in for free to Stadium Swim. 6 pools. There'll be a DJ, all the games on, food, drink. Going to be a lot of fun. We got a private pool up on the 3rd deck overlooking everything. We're going to have food, drinks. Going to be an awesome time. So make plans now to go to the Mountain West Tournament. If you've ever thought about going, this is the year to do it, to go to the Mountain West Tournament and to stay at Circa Resort and Casino. And again, email me for the 15% off link. And if you also just want to RSVP to the pool party and get in for free, RSVP Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. We'd still like folks to sign up for our VIP basketball experience. We're giving away a trip for 2 on the same private jet that I'm riding tonight to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. Check it out. VIP basketball experience. It's open to all yearly subscribers, so it's a thank you for being a yearly subscriber, and so there's still time to register. You can see the promo code at the bottom of the screen on the scroll. BNN50DEAL is the promo code. BNN50DEAL is the promo code. Type that in, sign up for the 1-year membership for $50. And somebody asked earlier, how long does the 1-year membership last? I think it's actually good for 366 days. You get the day you signed up for plus 365 days, I believe it is, and then it renews essentially on the same day the next year. So you be entered in the contest automatically. We're going to draw this in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to the trip. We're doing something creative. We might have like 5 finalists and then have a cool way to give this trip away. So we're working on that. But Ridley's Family Markets, Bousher Real Estate, the Blue and Orange Store, and Cutwater Spirits, sponsors of the trip. We appreciate them. And again, still time to sign up. We'll have We'll have some more giveaways on Friday. Our weekly giveaway on Friday is coming up. And again, if you won one of the previous giveaways the last couple of weeks, please email me so we can connect and get your address and get you your prize. So again, appreciate everybody for checking us out, all the comments and everything. We appreciate that. And again, I appreciate all the kind words on the safe travels. Very blessed and thankful again that we're going to hitch the ride down to the game on the PJ. And yeah, I'll brag about that a little bit. Pretty sweet, and that we have that option. But again, it's going to impact our pre and post game shows tonight. So we'll try to get you whatever coverage we can. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. That's the easiest place that I post to. We'll try. It's just at BJ Rains, RAINS. Facebook. We'll try to get some stuff there, but mostly Twitter is where I'm at on in-game coverage. But again, YouTube, where all these shows are, make sure you hit that subscribe button in the bottom of the screen. We're trying to get over 4,400. We're about 12 away, I think, from getting over 4,400 YouTube subscribers. Would love to get to 5,000 by the end of basketball season. We'll see. It's a little aggressive, but we'll see if we can get it done. So tell your friends, subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notifications so you know when we go live next. And it's very easy. Very easy. So appreciate you guys. At some point later tonight, we'll talk to you from Fresno. Don't know if it'll be live or what's going on, but we'll talk to you from Fresno when we can. And Boise State, Fresno State, big one on the road for the Broncos in the Mountain West. And we'll have you covered later this evening. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.